We were all thinking it. Israel is trying to buy TikTok. And this is one of those rabbit holes that I had no idea how deep it was about to go until I fell in. So bear with me here. And before the AI censors me, the country Israel is not trying to buy it. It's people with really deep ties to Israel. This lead came from Whitney Webb, the patron saint of independent journalism. And it starts here with Steve Mnuchin, who just announced that he's putting together investors to buy TikTok. But wait, Ian, Steve Mnuchin was the US Treasury Secretary. He's not Israel, right? Well, let's peel this onion back one layer at a time, starting with just the fact that he's Jewish, just par for the course. And don't worry, we're going to get all the way to Mossad here in a second. But it's important that you know that Mnuchin had a long, illustrious career at Goldman Sachs and hedge funds. He was a key member of the Trump campaign. And among his many ties to questionable people in finance, he's buddies with Michael Milken, who's famous for being one of the richest and most evil scumbags in the history of the last century of finance. Michael Milken revolutionized the art of stealing from the poor and getting really rich by manipulating the financial markets. And in the interest of shitting on Trump and Biden when credit is due, Trump pardoned him right before he left office. So anyways, Mnuchin has long been a huge supporter of Israel. He's been talking about how it's time to invest in Israel again after October 7th. And he recently traveled to Israel with his business partner, David Friedman. David Friedman is the United States ambassador to Israel for the Trump campaign. He has a long relationship with Trump going back to 1994, where he was his lawyer representing the Trump organization. And he's not like just Jewish. He's like born to a family of rabbis and went to Hebrew Academy, you know what I mean? And they were trying to recruit the ex-head of Mossad to join their investment fund. But from what I can tell, it didn't pan out, or he got recruited to a different banking enterprise. But that's the kind of person that they want on their team. We're specifically referring to Yossi Cohen, the former director of Mossad, and a bunch of news outlets seemed to pick up on it and were reporting on it when they were just in talks and nothing was confirmed yet. And maybe it heated up too much and they decided maybe not a good look. But one venture that our buddies Mnuchin and Friedman have invested in with their fund called Liberty Strategic Capital is this company called Cyber Reason. It's a US-Israeli late-stage cybersecurity startup. This is their logo. And Steve Mnuchin has a board seat because of his investment firm's funding for this venture. Whitney Webb has done all kinds of reporting about this company, doing simulations about that thing where we vote. Like, gosh, what would happen if we had to impose martial law because the thing where you vote got attacked? I'm not making that up. It's a deep rabbit hole. And their board of directors includes people like a vice president of security and privacy engineering at Google and a deputy CISO and director of intelligence and operations at Lockheed Martin. And this is the consortium of players that are pooling money to try to buy TikTok. Because I've been doing a lot of reporting on this TikTok bill. I've been in a lot of Twitter spaces with people in the policy realm talking about how the policy is getting written and why it's getting written. And from a TikTok creator and TikTok user standpoint, the one thing that we're all thinking is like, the censorship is not about China on TikTok. It's about Israel. And the problem that all these politicians and rich people have about TikTok is pretty obviously, probably, allegedly, my opinion only, the massive support for the other, country that was there before. And it's just so frustrating that when you oppress people's free speech with censorship, they don't just give in and believe what you want them to believe. It's almost like they free speech more. So there's a simple solution. And just to test the whole China is trying to control what we see on TikTok theory, the other day I made a video about all of the greatest hits of what's bad about China to see if it would get censored. Like I mentioned Tiananmen Square, I hashtagged Tiananmen Square, talked about the Uyghur Muslims, just to see if China's really suppressing these hashtags like we're told, and China's really keeping everyone from seeing anti-China content, like you'd think that would get censored. Yeah, this screenshot's at 33,000 views yesterday. It's at 400, 500,000 views today. Doesn't feel like China is trying to censor content or even has the power to. And as a TikTok creator who gets censored all the frickin' time, I can tell you that the things you get censored about are the CIA and Israel. and any adjacent topics that those organizations are interested in, like Joe Biden, for example. And yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, why anti-Semitism? It's, yeah, no. Foreign government lobbying our country with their foreign government dollars to influence our government policy, to do things that are not good for us, to send our aid money to their country to give them free healthcare while we don't have it, actively operating like, blackmail rings with a certain high profile financier that allegedly offed himself, having an unsanctioned nuclear program that they totally don't have, that's never been officially confirmed because they're not supposed to have had it, but like they got it, like after a certain president that wasn't into it suddenly had a part of his head missing. There's a lot of things going on here. And I'm not saying all conspiracy theories are true. I'm just saying, like, this is a problem. And I'm just saying that, like, you don't have to be very bright to see what's going on here. So you were all thinking it, and you weren't wrong.